Listen, welcome back. It's episode 2 of this. What do we call it again? It's the Pastor Stack podcast. So welcome back one more time to the Pastor Stack podcast. Like, share, subscribe. We're going to have some good conversations. We break this up into 3 parts. What's on my mind, what's in my heart, and what's in my soul. So let's get started because I got a lot to talk about, but I only got about 35 minutes to get it all in. So first up, I want all of you to know, especially all of you that are in love and planning your weddings and getting ready for, your wedding. I want you to know that McDonald's has your back. That's right. McDonald's has launched a $200 wedding package. Now, I have seen in some places it doesn't say $200; it says $230. So there may be, I guess prices may vary depending on what area you're in. You know, a $30 swing, but hopefully $30 won't mess your budget up too much. So the question was like, who is going to have McDonald's cater their wedding? I don't have no problems with it. I'm gonna be honest. Somebody might be like, no, you can't have McDonald's cater your wedding. But if that's where your money is, then go ahead. Or if McDonald's is your favorite place, then go ahead. Because what's the last wedding meal you remember? Like, it was just so amazing, just so exquisite that, you know, the taste of it was just so immaculate that you were like, hey, however much they spent on this, every penny was worth of it. I mean, I've been to a lot of weddings and I can't remember most of the meals I've had at any of those weddings. So I'm saying spend what you want to spend, but if McDonald's and that $200 wedding package resonates with you, then go ahead and get that wedding package. You're going to have nuggets. I mean, I don't really know how many nuggets, but you'll be able to have, you know, some fries. Although I'm gonna be honest, the fries would probably be a deal breaker for me. Like, I probably couldn't do it simply based on the fries. I'm huge on fries. And as you know, I think y'all will agree with me that McDonald's fries, they're either hot or freezing and nothing in between. So, and they get cold so quick too. Maybe like 5 minutes, you get like a 5-minute window of your fries being hot. And after that, they're like ice cold. So I don't know how, if you're going to serve McDonald's at a wedding, you're going to keep the fries hot. So for me, that will be a deal breaker. But if you're out there and you're planning a wedding, because I know several people that are planning weddings right now, I'm not saying do this, but I am saying take it under consideration. McDonald's might be the way to go. This wedding package might be the way to go. Because who you trying to impress? You know, but I tell you this, everybody will remember your wedding. One reason or another, everybody be like, hey, do you remember that McDonald's catered wedding? So go ahead, enjoy it. Enjoy the golden arches. And you know what? Remember President Trump? He served he served a football team, a championship football team. He served them McDonald's. So I mean, it was good enough to be served by a president at the White House. So just if anybody says, hey, why are you serving McDonald's? You just remind them that that was the meal served at the White House for a championship team. So that's why you decided to have it at your wedding. And enjoy. And don't forget to send me an invite so I can dip me a couple of nuggets and dip me a couple of fries. All right. Now I got to move on to something that's a little bit more serious, but definitely needs to be discussed. That's the I believe it was, let me look up this date. I believe it was June 30th. So about 2 weeks ago now. I saw on the news that the Supreme Court had struck down affirmative action. And there could be a big conversation on affirmative action and its merits, you know, whether it was a good program, whether it was ideal for today's day and age and things of that nature. To which I say affirmative action was put in place because Black people and people of color But I'm gonna say black people because we were the predominant people out leading the effort for the change. So me saying black people is not to minimize the other groups. It's just to recognize the group that was the main group pushing for this change. So so black folk were protesting and calling for equal treatment and equal rights. And part of that equal treatment and equal rights birth affirmative action. And affirmative action was designed to give us access to colleges that would exclude us based on the color of our skin, not on our educational prowess, but simply we would be eliminated because of the color of our skin. So affirmative action was implemented to truncate. It couldn't kill it because racism is so deep, you can't kill it, at least not in my lifetime. So, but it was, affirmative action was created to truncate or undercut the racism that was keeping blacks and other non-whites out of colleges, universities, prestigious colleges, prestigious universities. That's why HBCUs were invented, because we weren't allowed access into those other campuses. So we created our own. Shout out to A&T and all the other HBCUs out there. Keep doing great work. You are molding young minds. But I bring affirmative action being gutted and struck down by the Supreme Court just to say this. It surprised me and disappointed me, really, how little I heard from the black community on this issue. Because the same crowd, see, the thing is, the same crowd that's going to convince me it's important to vote and to let my voice be heard when something like this is happening, had nothing to say. So that group had nothing to say. The politicians had nothing to say. And then they're going to circle around and be telling us, and they're going to fear monger us to vote for them when times like this, where they should have done everything in their power to stop it from happening off GP, if nothing else, off of GP. Do you know how many people fought, died, sacrificed in order for that to happen? And as it was getting struck down, the black community just basically gave a collective shoulder shrug, like, what can you do? It reminds me of right here in Fayetteville, when down around the slave market house, they put the Black Lives Do Matter around there because the politicians were too scared to just put Black Lives Matter, so they put the Do Matter in there. So and then one day they just tore it up. They just took it up. They didn't have no conversation. They didn't give no heads up. They just took it up. And I found it completely disrespectful to the very community it was supposed to be honoring, because you didn't have any conversation with that community. You didn't ask us how we felt about it. You just took it up. So we talked to our local politicians, and they were willing to put it back down there. But if we don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything. And it also shows the lack of leadership in the black community. But we also know why there is a lack of leadership in the black community, because when you are leading in the black community, they kill you, or they vilify you, or they find some way to undercut you so that your message doesn't resonate or doesn't get a chance to get out. So affirmative action has been gutted. Affirmative action essentially is no more in terms of being a factor into higher education and getting into colleges. That is what it is. But brothers, sisters, listen, lean in. We let that go way too easy. We've been like, what will be next? And when the next one comes, once again, will we give a collective shoulder shrug? So I acknowledge in this process, I have to do a better job. I heard they was going to the Supreme Court. I just really didn't think that. I guess I underestimated it. But check this out. One last point. One last point on this. So we protested in 2020 for better treatment, equal rights, better police treatment from the police enforcement, things of that nature. What have we gotten from that? The George Floyd policing bill went nowhere. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act, what happened with it? Nothing. But in the meanwhile, while those things didn't progress, rights we already had, like affirmative action, got rolled back. So not only did we not get more of what we were asking for, we've actually gotten less as time passed by. Keep that in mind when these Democrats come asking to go to your churches and come asking come asking for your vote. Black folks showed up in record number. We gave them the president. We gave Democrat had the presidency, the House, and the Senate. And keep in mind, and now we have less, not more, less. So when they come knocking, and they will, they're going to say, vote for us, and this is what we'll do the next time. If you just vote for us again, this is what we'll do the next time. What are you doing now? Because what you're doing now, we're getting less. Not even the same. We're getting less. So, all right, let's move on to the next thing. But sometimes you just feel like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. Like, seriously, how do we not get any of those things and end up with less than what we had going into it before we voted these people in? Yeah, but they'll come back and they will fearmonger and they'll tell us, but if you don't, then something, whatever. Okay, so next, I want to talk about this interview that I saw with a young lady named Young Miami. She's part of a group called the City Girls, and the City Girls have also created a culture, a part of a culture and a climate. Because I had to actually look up what a city girl was, because it's not only it's a group, right? The City Girl is a group, two girls, right? Yeah, City Girl is a group with two girls in it, and one of the young, I'm saying girls, one of the young ladies in it, because they're grown. One of the young ladies in it name is Young Miami. Young Miami was in an interview recently, and she was asked whether she would want her daughter to be a city girl. So I was like, well, what exactly is a city girl? I know it was a group, but what is the definition of a city girl? So I went to the Urban Dictionary online. I'm 43 now, so some of this stuff that the younger generations do, and I need to get a clearer definition of it. So that's how you know you're getting older, when you got to go to the internet to look up what slang is. Y'all will understand that one day, because it won't be native to you anymore. But this is what a city girl is according to the Urban Dictionary. A city girl is a girl who lives in a city and who hooks up promiscuously and even no strings attached, and just kind of runs around and doesn't mind being passed around, kind of a thing. Actually seeks it out. So that's a city girl. I guess my grandma would call them loose. Yeah, I don't know what, she'd be like, that's a loose girl. But apparently that's the definition of a city girl. So Young Miami, who is part of the duo of the group City Girls and have helped create the terminology of City Girls and the mentality of City Girls, was asked, because she has a daughter apparently. Does she have a daughter? She was asked if she would allow her daughter to be a city girl, to which she said, no, I wouldn't want my daughter to be a city girl. And this was the other part that really stood out to me. She said she doesn't even want her daughter to see the images of the city girl lifestyle. And a lot of conversation has started about this now, because here's a woman who is purporting a lifestyle and an image to millions of girls that she herself does not want even shown, not even live, it does not want her daughter to even see that kind of lifestyle. So a lot of people have been talking about how it is hypocritical for you to sell a lifestyle to other people's daughters that you wouldn't even want for your own daughter. I want to take a bigger look, because this is not about Young Miami. She did not start this. It did not start with her. It will not end with her. So I think if the conversation focuses on Young Miami and what she said, we're missing the forest for the trees. This is about an industry that does not mind showing our daughters this kind of lifestyle and glorifying this kind of lifestyle when even the people that are in it know it is not a productive lifestyle. But the industry is full of people that don't look like us, so they don't care anything about what our daughters look up to. So they give those images. I'm going to say this again. How did we go from 2020 coming together as not just black people? We came together as people. It was blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians. We were out marching for equality, calling for change, to now being hot girl summers and city girls, and people arguing over high value men. Like, we went from looking like we were on track to coming together as a better culture to going back into our ratchet ways. And you gotta wonder the industries behind this. They create the images that we see. None of this is by mistake. You understand what I'm saying? That none of this is by mistake. These people are given these images, these rappers and singers, because it's not just the rappers, it's the country music. It is all of these, every image you see is curated, it's made. They have stylists, they have all those things because they want you to look a certain way and sound a certain way. And I just want you to take note of the way and the images they want your daughters to see, and they want your daughters and sons to idolize. But I don't want to act like, one final thing, I don't want to act like this is something new. This is something that that the industry has always done. Back in my day, we had music that was ratchet. So ratchet music is nothing new. Glorifying a sexually promiscuous life is nothing new. It's been that way, but we gotta stay woke. We gotta stay vigilant, because our sons and our daughters are looking for us to be that for them, to make sure that the images that they are seeing are positive, and it ain't got to be like wholesome like Disney. Even Disney be doing some crazy stuff now, but we just want to be very mindful of the images that we're allowing our children to see and buy into. I wanted to be in a gang. I know I got to move on. I wanted to be in a gang when I was I don't know, 11 or 12 or 13 or whatever it was, because the images I was seeing made it look cool. It made it look like, oh man, look, this gang and their family and all that kind of stuff. But so that's what I mean. Just be cognizant of the images that are being shown to your children and the things that are being glorified to your children, because it could be the difference between the decisions they make in a positive way and the decisions they make in a negative way. Thank God he had mercy on me with a lot of, I'm gonna go ahead and say dumb decisions that I was making as a kid. And thank God for good parents, and thank God for all of you good parents and grandparents out there, because it's an uphill battle, but it's a battle for our children that we can win. All right. I think it's sports time. I think those are the three, right? Wait, hold on. Oh no! That I'm gonna do the Nelson line. The Nelson line is coming in at the we did McDonald's, right? Yeah. All right, and then we did affirmative action, and then we did the City Girls. Let's go. It's time for sports talk. Listen, he nervous. He trying to act like he's not. This is Malik. Welcome, Malik, to the Pastor Stack podcast. Good to have you with us. Now, we got into a good discussion last time.
We did. But we're about to have a better one today.
All right.
And so what we're going to be going over is, who is a better point guard, Magic Johnson or Stephen Curry?
Okay. All right. Who's a better point guard, Steph or Ro? You got my graphics coming in. My graphic popping. We got nothing for Steph and. Who would say Steph and Magic? Johnson. All right.
I mean, it's all right. This debate won't take long. So we can go ahead and just jump straight into it. And so, like I said before, the question isn't who's a better basketball player, Stephen or Magic. Who's a better point guard, as in point guard.
Who's a better point guard? Yeah, okay, all right. So you say the better point guard between Steph and Magic is?
Magic Johnson.
All right.
Absolutely.
And I say the better point guard between the two is Steph all day, man.
Okay, so what is your definition of a point guard?
My definition of a point guard is someone that, well, first of all, they have the ball in their hand predominantly, and they set up the plays. And
Okay.
yeah, set up the plays, assist, score, things of that nature. Yeah,
Assist, score. Okay, so it's interesting.
But they're gonna run the team. The team is gonna run through them. Because point guard gonna bring the ball up, so they're gonna start to facilitate and things of that nature. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Well, like you said before, the role of a point guard is to facilitate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, that's my definition. What's your definition?
Right. It's to facilitate the ball to their teammates. That is the main job as a point guard.
Right? I can't say that's the main job.
That's not the main job.
The main job is to control the floor. That's the main job. The main job is to control the floor on offense. To control the floor on offense. So yeah. That's the main job. To control the floor on offense,
as well as getting their teammates involved. Correct? Isn't that the point guard's job?
Absolutely. You got to get the teammates involved. Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of getting teammates, involved, the best statistic to identify that is assists. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that it's the best, but it is definitely a very strong indicator.
Very strong indicator as far as the point guard making sure that they're giving their teammates opportunities to score, which is one of the main jobs as a point guard. Correct?
Yeah. Well, okay. So the main job of everybody on the team is to do what?
Is to
win.
Okay.
Yeah, to win. So the point guard. The point guard.
It's to do their role that leads to that. It's to do their job on the floor that leads to a win. Hopefully, if everybody does their job, that will be the end result. So, like your main job
to win
by doing your role.
Yeah.
By doing your role. That's exactly
by doing your role. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So, because everybody on that team gonna have a role. Everybody on the team gonna have a role, right?
Right. And so the main role for a point guard, like I said, is to assist. And when we think about assists, Magic Johnson averaged 11 assists a game. How many assists did Steph Curry? Do you know how many assists he averages a game?
I know this. If you take Steph Curry, he is going to be the best point guard you ever have because he is as Stephen A would say, he is the greatest shooter God ever created. So I don't care if you can give me 11 assists. If they have to, other teams have to be so fearful of Steph Curry, they pick him up at the half court line. You know how dangerous that means you are?
He's very dangerous.
In any position.
He's very dangerous. I'm not knocking you for that.
Take a center who normally plays down by the basket. If you got to pick him up at the half-court line, that is not an indictment on his game. That shows just how strong his game is. See, you take anybody and you give them Steph Curry strikes fear.
He does
in the heart. So yeah. So if we talking about between Magic and Curry, I take Curry all day, man.
See, but I feel like
because in point guard, the first word in that position is what? Let me point. Right? Point.
That is the first word.
Point. So how can the greatest shooter ever created not be also the best point guard ever created?
But the main point guard, so
it ain't an assist guard, it's a point guard.
But the main job of a point guard is to get is to get your team involved to score. So basically, by your definition, so I think you're moving the argument to who's a better player, which Stephen Curry compared to Magic, that's one debate, but it's another debate on who's a better point guard. And so when it comes to being a point guard and getting your teammates involved, Magic. So Stephen Curry has played 14 seasons in the NBA compared to Magic Johnson. Okay. And so in Magic Johnson's 13 seasons of playing, he got over 10,141 assists compared to Steph Curry's 5,740 assists. So in regards to facilitating the ball and getting his team involved, getting the rest of his team involved, and leadership, I 100% believe Magic Johnson is a better leader than Stephen Curry.
You think all them double teams Steph Curry picking up ain't helping his team? Come on, If Steph Curry has to get guarded coming across the half court line, you don't think that's freeing his team up?
But then shouldn't he have more assists?
You don't think all eyes being on Steph Curry, him having to be double team and triple team, ain't helping his team? Like, okay, Magic had some nice pass. Woo, hey, like, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. I can't take that away from Magic. He's a great player. Yeah? So, but what I'm saying is, the more you got to double team one person, the more another person is going to be able to be open. So swing the ball. And so, yeah, as far as point guard goes, I would absolutely, positively give it to Steph Curry because he can get you assists just like Magic can. But what Magic can't do as a point guard is score at that rate. So that's why I say that's why I say he's better, because he may not get as many assists, but he will shoot you out the gym, and that's going to help his team in a way that Magic could not help his team.
Okay, well, one thing Magic did help his team to do was win 5 championships compared to Steph Curry's 4.
Oh, the championship thing. Okay, all right. So, well, you know, you gotta be careful whenever you measure things by championships, because I mean, if that's the case. There are other point guards that would have more rings in both of them that we wouldn't put in front of either one of them. So the ring conversation, the ring argument, that's all right. But I mean, Steph Curry he changed the game. He changed the game. Some will argue in a good way, some will argue in a bad way. But that little dude, he's an assassin. So. I would take him over most NBA players, not just Magic Johnson. I would take him over most NBA players. So taking him over Magic Johnson is an easy choice.
Where do you rank them in regards to leadership? Like, you know, Steph Curry compared to Magic Johnson's, you know, leadership.
See, now, I don't know Magic Johnson's leadership that much because I didn't pay him that much attention when he was actually playing. So I can't really speak on his leadership, to be honest with you. Steph Curry seems to have a different kind of leadership style where he'll let
other people lead and kind of do the kind of job he should have been doing as leadership. Like, he'll let other people be in control.
We don't know that he in control because we all know he runs that team.
Right.
You know, we all know he runs that team. It's kind of like, okay, it's kind of like I'm going to use an analogy of the mob, but I'm not saying Steph Curry is a mob boss. I'm just using an analogy of the mob. The boss don't do the dirty work. He got soldiers for that. Draymond Green's his soldier. Everybody knows who team that is. There is nobody that is wondering whose team Golden State is. So when Draymond Green or whoever goes out and they're an enforcer, nobody still mistakes that team for Draymond Green. Everybody know whose team that is. So to me, that's just a different kind of leadership style. I'm the leader, but I have my enforcers. They got enforcers in hockey. You know, that's their main thing to do is to go out and be an enforcer. To, you know, not, you know, run into people, be rough and all that kind of stuff, which is Draymond Green's job. He goes out there and he's rough with other people because that ain't Steph Curry's. That's not what he's going to do. So
we'll see. And like the main reason why I say that Magic Johnson is a better point guard than Steph Curry is I'm looking at it from 3 different perspectives. Well, three different things, as in leadership, getting your teammates involved, and ball handling. So obviously Steph Curry has the ball handling because he's one of the best ball handlers. You know,
excellent.
Yeah. But when it comes to leadership and getting your team and getting the rest of your team involved, Magic Johnson, hands down, has a pure point guard, which is what this discussion is about. Not on who's the better scorer, which obviously is Steph. But as far as pure point guard, being a pure point guard.
See, but that word pure is subjective. You know what I'm saying? That word pure is subjective because I say if me simply coming across the half-court line strikes fear into your whole team, how can I not be the best?
As in player-wise, but as far as point guard, that's another debate.
How can I not be so I can be the best player, but not the best point guard? If I'm the best one, I'm by default the other. But I know we got to move on. But hey, you did good on this one, brother. You held your own. You held your own. All right, that's our sports section. Thank you, Malik. That's what's on my mind. Now I want to talk for a minute. What's on my heart? 2 weeks ago, I had one of the greatest experiences of my 43 years of living. This is what was on my heart. My son was baptized, and I got the opportunity to be in his past. I got the opportunity to baptize my son. It was I can't lie. It was an emotional moment. I've had a lot of moments with my son in his 11 his 11 years. A lot of firsts, first words, first time walking, his first soccer game, first football game, first big hit in a football game, first time he broke a couple of tackles and ran in for a touchdown. And, we was on the side and we were cheering and having a good time. None of those things compare. None of them compare to the amount of joy and pride I felt baptizing my son. As a Christian man, I hope that my son sees enough in me and the way I try to serve God and be a good man to my family and my community, that he would say, hey, I want to believe in that same God and I want to get baptized. And I never asked my son, hey, do you want to be baptized? Are you going to get baptized? Or when are you going to make that move? You getting a little old. My hope was that if he saw what following God is in his father, that he make his mind up that, you know what, I want that for me as well. And that's what he did. It was such a special moment for me, such a special moment for my wife Savannah and the rest of the family. And when it was time for me to baptize him, he's standing in front of me and we're down in the water. I know he's not nervous because my son loves water, man. He loves water, so I know he's not nervous. So he comes down into the water, and I ask him, I'm like, I don't want. So I say his name. We baptize you in the name of the Father, name of the Son, name of the Holy Spirit. And then I pause for a minute. So when I pause for a minute, people are like, yeah, they clapping. They're like, all right, because they think sometimes kids get a little nervous because they're a little scared of the water. So the congregation would kind of clap and encourage them. So they started clapping and encouraging. They thought that my son was the nervous one, but nah, it was me. Like I was emotional, man. It was one of the greatest moments of my life, and I just wanted to share that was on my heart. So fathers, for those of you that have children, I guess I'm on this children thing today. For those of you that have children, sons, daughters, they watch us. They watch us even when we don't think they're watching us. They're listening to us even when we think we're having a private conversation. They're listening. They're watching and they're listening. And the person you are is going to help shape the person they will be. So, and one of the greatest things that I will have accomplished in my life is that my son's soul is saved. It means so much to me. So, and I hope that all of my children decide to give their life to Christ. So I just want to encourage all of you parents out there to do the best you can. I'm not saying be a perfect parent. I'm just saying do the best you can to be a good parent, and also do the best you can to try to make sure that your children have a spiritual foundation and know who God is. And the best way to do that is to live it yourself. All right. That's what's on my heart. Now, what is in my soul? In a couple of days, we'll be celebrating me being pastor at the church I pastor, Lewis Chapel Missionary Baptist Church. Phenomenal church. And I will forever and eternally be grateful to the Reverend Dr. John D. Fuller Sr., who saw something in me when I didn't even see it in myself. He was the previous pastor before I became pastor. And you know what? One day I'm gonna probably just do a whole show where I talk about my experience with him and how I came to, and how he helped guide me and help me become the man that I am today. So, but we're celebrating Lewis Chapel and Pastor Stackhouse. We're celebrating 7 great years together, and it makes me very reflective. It makes me very reflective of the journey. I'm really, really big on journey. So I think sometimes we get very centered on destination, what we want to do, what we want to be, that we don't appreciate the journey that we're already on in order to get there. So Roy knows this. I talked to him about that. Malik knows this, and the congregation knows this. I'm big on journey, because when you appreciate the journey, then even if it's taking you a while to get to your desired destination, you can still appreciate the journey and the progress that it is taking in order to get there. So I just wanted to encourage you that if it seems like it's taking you a long time to get to where you want your life to be, just enjoy the journey of the process. You will get there if it's in God's will. You will get there. You will get it. You will accomplish it. But on the way, appreciate everything that God is doing. And, on the way, appreciate the journey, appreciate the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. People love to look at famous people and rich people and their lifestyle and what they have, but nobody wants the journey. The journey is what it's all about. Because if you can't survive the journey and do well in the journey, you'll never get to the destination. So I just wanted to tell you, don't get discouraged in your journey. Appreciate the journey for all that it is. And I mean the ups and the downs, because the downs don't last forever, just like the ups don't last forever either. So that's it. That's what's on my mind. That's what's on my heart. That's what's in my soul.